Good day, Tamers. Welcome back to another episode with me, Gear Swiftly. So, another one of these fan-friendly decks, casual, fun times. You guys voted for it. Well, you liked it. 5 likes in the last video, so I said I'd do plan if I got 5 likes, and I did quite quickly, which I thought was a bit scary. Thank you very much. So, on Fremon, when your opponent has 2 or more suspended Digimon, you gain 2000 DP. This deck will suspend if you can. It's very good for suspending, and it does gain a lot of benefits from suspending. We also play 4 of the Yokomon. You can take this deck down basically a full Digiburst style deck if you really want to, because there's quite a lot of Digibursting monsters that are available in vegetation. I just say plants, but it's vegetation is the correct term. Yokomon's just fantastic when you Digiburst away, you gain 2000 to one of your Digimon. So you don't even have to Digiburst the one that you want, so you can basically stack it all onto one Digimon. It's very effective. First we'll play 4 of the Undeletion Palmons. So all these basically are you just throw them into your opponent's security, hope they die, and then they suspend one of your opponent's Digimon. Because you're playing in green, obviously, you can kind of cheat out a few things in green, make things a bit more competitive. But that's what they're there for. There's cheap fodder. Chuck it out. Playing 3 of the other Undeletion Palmons. Place 1 Palmon from your trash under one of your green Digimon at the bottom of your Digivolution cards. There's only 2 inherited effect Palmons currently in the game, and one of those is when you attack your opponent's Digimon, gain 2000 DP, and the other one is the jamming Palmon from promos. I didn't add either of those because in vegetations there's no piercing, so you don't really want to just do that essentially because you're not going to have any to stop it with. The jamming one would be really good, but I think that most people, because it's a casual deck, won't be having 2, 4, 3 or 1 of the cool promo Palmons because they're still like 20 quid each, I think. And this is meant to be more of like a budget style deck where you can go down to your locals, pick up a lot of these commons and uncommons, and essentially make a deck out of them. Playing 3 of the on play search for a level 4 Digimon. Again, you don't have to play this one at all. This is really just here basically to get you rolling if you can. Green just does super well anyway. It's down to you. Play 2, play 1, play 3, play 4, play 0. It's down to you. I just think it's nice to see a lot of power in this deck just because it is a plant-based deck. Play 4 of the Lalamons, so you're playing 14 rookies, which I always think is the nice sweet spot for rookies. This deck kind of goes a little bit Digibursty towards the end, but it doesn't really go Digibursty in a sense that it could go. But I just think that's a nice card for people to have a look at. Play in a nice even playset of the Togemons. This is when one of your opponent's Digimon is suspended, this Digimon gets 2000 DP for the turn. Again, because we will be suspending in this deck itself, great. You get to gain DP and go crazy. Playing Vegemon. You don't have to play this Vegemon. It's just that this Vegemon's a 4 cost to throw down. A lot of the vegetation cards are actually 4 cost to throw down the field. It's a 1 cost to evolve into, but you are a 6k beat stick, so you do become a lot more aggressive in this deck than you could have been. But I think it's quite nice. You throw down all these horrible little Palmons. Your opponent goes to block, or if your opponent has blockers, so you just go, okay, I'll evolve into Vegemon. You swing in. So I think that's quite nice because you can actually get over the blockers. We have 2 of the Woodmons if you want to have your own blockers. This, in my opinion, is a little bit better than Kabuterimon just because you are a 6k and you're still vegetation. And then last of the champions, which is a little bit of tech from earlier, the Arbamons. If you really want to, again, this just obviously finish off games, evolve one of your Tamers into this, swing for game. Nothing really to say about that. Really, it's just very simple, very current gameplay with a lot of the other decks. Red and blue are a little bit more aggressive in that sense, so maybe it makes more sense for them. Now for the champion lineup in this deck, you could definitely play some of the Togemons, which is reveal top 3 cards to your deck and add a level 5 or higher Digimon to your hand. Again, this is a really good card if you really want to play it. Down to you. I don't necessarily recommend it for most decks, but I do think it's a good card. I could see fringe play if you want to play a knock-double deck like this, but it does come up every now and again, and I think a 2 of is good enough. For Weedmon, this is essentially the opposite of playing good old Digimon. This is here just for your stack, so you want to just throw it down, and I just realised like I could do it this way for some reason, so sorry. yeah, just throw it down. Essentially, you're going to use it as a pop mechanism and then you can yourself a memory back. Very common in a lot of the Digiburst decks right now that are out there, because it's just really useful. Then we're going to go on to the lovely ultimates. So, you've got Lilymon, 2 of these. This is just searching for your level 6s or higher Digimon cards amongst them. Enter your hand and place any cards coming for a deck. It's pretty nice, pretty decent. It's not the greatest card in the world, but again, if you're stuck in a situation you just can't get your hand to unbudge, and you know, revealing 5 cards can really sort of like swing your deck around a bit more. I do think this is quite fun, but not necessarily the most useful card in most circumstances. 3 Lilymons from the Ex1. And this is when one of your opponent's Digimon becomes suspended, you gain a security attack. It's really good for green, because green has like the big problems of not being able to do that. But yeah, it also comes in an ultimate art if you're looking to pull that or care for it. And then play 3 of the Blossom ones. Because this deck will essentially just throw out Digimon, it's a good idea to have something like this where you can just build a big stack really quickly and go crazy. I'm not saying it's the best cards possible, but there probably are some better ones, like possibly the level 5 for Lilymon, which is it will suspend Digimon when Digibursting, which would be really good. But I do like Blossomon as a quick alternative to getting to your Mega as fast as possible. Agumon, if you wanted to. Agumon is a mutant though, so the difference here would be the fact that you can't just evolve into it or as a vegetation, so essentially it's just because it's the best probably card in its slot. Just because when you get to attack with your Mega you can throw down that rocket. Suspended though, which a lot of people do argue about. You could also play a 4th Blossomon if you really wanted to, but that's down to you and how you want to build your own deck. I'm thinking to build decks, I'm saying this is fun. Rosemon, the Ex1 version. So this is kind of a fun Digimon. So it's this Digimon gets 1000 DP for each of your opponent's suspended Digimon. And then when attacking, suspend one of your opponent's Digimon. So if your opponent has a blocker, you go to swing, you suspend it, you now have 12,000, and then all of your other triggers that are on suspension trigger. So you have security attack +1, you'll have 2000 DP extra, so you know 14k with security attack +1, and then it can also benefit something further down the line. So this is our kind of main Digimon. And if you're in a situation where you just need to do it because maybe you're going to get like Hexablow. Hexablow's still around, it's not very common. With Fleegies now. So this is our main, you can Digiburst 2, and all of your Digimon now get 2000 DP for the turn. And then your turn once per turn, when one of your Digimon Digibursts, or if your opponent's Digimon can't attack or block until the end of the next turn. So it's a good tempo control, and it's also a 1 cost to evolve into from a level 6 as it is. That's the only real Digibursting card in this deck, but once you get there, you can essentially start controlling the board, which you should do anyway. That's the both green controls and green control. You can also play the Rosemon from the Structure deck if you wanted to, which is when your opponent's Digimon can't attack or block until the end of the next turn as well, so a very similar effect to the VGs. If you want to keep that effect going, then you know it's got a nice start into the next finisher. Obviously the biggest issue with these Digimon is they don't have a lot of attack damage. So this guy comes in. So you have +1 on your beautiful Rosemon. You have all that DP extra, you then Digivolve into this. You're still a +1 security attack. Let's say for instance you went, okay, swing with Rose, that's 2, evolved into this, pierce through whatever you just, well it has a block or whatever they did. Swing in, do the extra damage, so then now it's 1 security and then 1 shield, and then from there on you just carry on swinging in. They might take you down, they might try and reduce, probably could even play some security control, because let's face it, that's all you ever see these days, because people want a slow grind. And that's going to be the biggest issue. You've got to try and get through the slow grind, and this is not really going to help too much, because these decks don't really slow grind, they're their own kind of grind game themselves. Two Mimis. You can play 3 Mimis if you wanted to. It's down to you really. I just think 2's enough, because if you do somehow get 2 on the stack, 2 on your board, you're just constantly just doing that. That's a whole egg and everything else you can get out as well. If you wanted to, because this deck is technically a 49 card deck as well, you can also play another Tamer. This one's not too bad for structure deck because you are suspending things just from attacking, so it makes sense that when you attack, you can gain extra memory, which can let you do more plays. That's about that for the Tamers. You can also play this Izzy, which I think is probably better than playing these here. 2 costs, which isn't too bad as well. The idea for this would be that when you get to a level 5, if you're stuck for a level 6, you can obviously suspend it and you can just draw yourself a green card and keep it to your hand. It has to be a Digimon though, sadly. So if you're looking for Chaosmon, don't do that. It's the best you can do, really. Then we have the One of Always. You always have the 1 hit potential is good. It's a fantastic card that helps you get into your level 7 as quick as possible. Spend 1 card, jump into that. As always, play the 2 of, play 2 of Needle Spray. Could play 4 of it, could play 3, but I think 2 is a sweet spot. You want to see it, but you don't want to have it all the time. It's a dead card in your hand if you're doing to suspend. We play 2 of the Green Memory Boost because Dino Memory Boost isn't that great from what I can remember, so you're kind of stuck with this card for at least until we get the next round of Memory Boost, which I don't think Green gets a 3rd one, at least not currently. It might be out in BT9 maybe. But for those who don't know, on play, search the top 4 cards of your deck, add 1 green Digimon card to your hand, so the rest of the bottom of your deck, and then keep it to the bottom of your board, so you can pop it to get 2 memory later on, or if it's found in security, just empty the board and pop for later for 2 security. And that's it. That's the deck, basically. For those who want to, as I said, you can probably play more Needle Sprays, or you play possibly an extra Memory Boost if you want to. As I already said, it's a 49 card deck. Add an extra Tamer if you're a bit worried, because you obviously want to use your Arbmons for swinging if you could. Or maybe add Swing Gas for more suspending, or add more for more searching. So that's down to you guys. Thank you for being here. Deck profile wasn't the greatest. I was trying to figure out like what to do for this deck, because even though I said like, yeah, I'll do something in green, I couldn't really think of what's good in green right now in terms of like vegetation. Ancient Troymon's like 10 warriors, I think it is, so it's not technically vegetation, and it's also not a very good card. I know I did the whole deck profile for it a while ago. It's so expensive, and it's not that great a card because it's only really good against Rookie Rush. And even though like, the current meta decks are Rookie Rush, it doesn't necessarily stop them from doing what they want to do. So, for instance, like it's really bad against Agubons, because Agubons will take 3 cards for the cost of like 1 suspend. And if you have no other Digimon on the field, like what you're suspending. And then Gabubons, it technically doesn't suspend itself, I don't think. So you attack, you have to suspend 2 others, but if there's nothing on the field that they don't suspend, so it ignores the trigger. And then because you've already attacked, when you unsuspend, you don't trigger the trigger. This is timing. I think that's one of the weird things about Agent Trimmer. But no, so yeah, green's in a weird place. They get much better next set. Next set, Insectoid's really good because you get all the hybrids, which are all insects. But not much for vegetation for a while, guys. So thank you for being here. Hope you guys have a great time. Hope you guys have enjoyed these couple ones. Again, I want to do Angels as the yellow deck profile, so I want to do something else. And then I think the purple profile, if I actually get into it, will be just an improvement, looking like the Lilith one deck. But that's it for now, guys. Thank you for being here, and we'll see you guys next one. Stay safe and keep on playing. Goodbye.